Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at ES Club. I'm your host, Cornell Bunting. Today, I'm so excited. We finally have the big bad author in the house. She is not only just an author, though, guys. You know, she's a philanthropy that actually work in the nonprofit world as well. Hoops and Mission. Come on. Listen. We're going to dive into her journey today. We're going to dive into where she grew up, all of these beautiful things. But not only that, but we're going to tap into this big bad book right here. You guys see it? Abiding Light. And I'm telling you guys, in the shadow of your absence, this is so cool. We will be talking to none other than Heidi Paulec. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes. This is so cool. So, you know, we like to treat our guests to that tale. And so what we're going to do, Heidi, we are going to go back to the early years, where the story first began. You know, where was that? Where were you born? Where you grew up?
I was born in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Come on.
And for the first 12 years of my life, I lived out in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. And I loved it.
Yeah. When we were younger, they call it in the boons.
Uh-huh.
You live in the boons.
Exactly.
So you had to walk to school, or you had a bus that takes you to
No, I had a
school?
bus. It was too far. Needed the bus. Yeah, for sure. Especially with the snow.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that is true. Because what is the time frame on when you get snow there? Was it like?
Oh, I think we got snow as early as September and as late as May.
What?
My dad's birthday is June 18th, and they had snow June 18th.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so usually May-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. Now, going to school, what was that like for you? Did you like what was happening?
So my first kindergarten through first grade, I went to the same school my mom went to, and her dad went to.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
very, very small school.
So you had a little reputation.
Yeah, exactly. Family reputation is huge.
Nice.
Huge. And then I went, my dad was not from the area, and he felt like I would get a better education at a larger school. So we moved for that reason. That was the reason we moved. And that was really a avant-garde, like, move on my dad's part, to do that. But yeah, I loved Wyoming.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now you know, with everything that's going on with the family there, moving, what was you transitioning to high school look like?
So I actually went to high school in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma.
So at age 12, my dad was had an oil company at the time, and that was at the trough of the oil crisis. So we moved to Oklahoma to be near his oil production.
Nice.
And so that was in sixth grade, and honestly, sixth grade was one of the hardest years of my early years because of transitioning from an agricultural community to a bigger city in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I had short hair when everyone had long hair, and I had the wrong clothes and all the things. And how sixth graders are, they let you know that you're not, you don't fit.
You're the odd person.
That's right. So
But you were okay with that.
I was not okay with that in sixth grade. It was hard. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It was very difficult, but my parents were great. They really wanted me to find my place, and I loved basketball in Wyoming. That was a big thing. And when I moved to Oklahoma, girls were still playing six-man basketball.
Oh.
And I did not like that.
No.
So I had to transition out of six-man basketball because my favorite part of basketball was like running down the court.
Right.
So in six-man, it's half and half. You only play defense or you only play offense. And it's old school and it's not fun, I'll be honest. So I ended up on a dance team in middle school. And so then going into high school, I was on a competitive dance team that we were nationally ranked. And
come on.
Absolutely loved it. Worked out, probably 10, 15 hours a week.
Wow.
All year long, and then in the summers longer. So we were highly competitive. And
you were hitting the stage hard.
Loved it. Yep.
Oh, man, that is amazing. When did you move? Like, when did you find the Sunshine State? At what age?
Sunshine State, 2011. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a newbie, but not entirely. Yeah. I've been around for a couple hurricanes.
I don't know if we would say newbie, because you know what's special about 2011? That's the year I got my citizenship.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So this is beautiful. Now, you coming down to this side, was it the reason for work, or what made you choose to?
Interestingly enough, my previous husband, we thought we were going to be missionaries in Germany. And so he had gone to seminary, and we had been encouraged to get some property in the U.S. And then have basically a landing pad. And that was at the trough of the economy down here. So we bought a place, and that was the original intent.
I see.
Yeah.
Did Germany happen?
No.
Wow.
Nope, it didn't happen.
Oh, man. So, in Florida, loving it, transition was good, or?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Absolutely love Florida. Absolutely love it. I homeschooled my own kids for 19 years, and we did all kinds of great field trips. Florida is incredible for natural field trips all over, and Disney and Epcot. Epcot was great for field tripping and learning things, so. Yeah, it was a great experience.
You have quite the administrative skill. And so when did you start exploring that world?
So I love Hoops on Mission and Dwayne Jackson, Dwayne and Karina. Actually knew them prior to Hoops on Mission becoming Hoops on Mission.
Okay.
My whole family participated in their wedding. My daughter was flower girl, so we're like family to begin with.
Right.
But in the first few years, I got to serve on the board of Hoops on Mission, and that was toward the end of my board tenure there. I was in the middle of homeschooling, and it was just too much. So I had to slip off that way, but I had told Dwayne and Karina I would always be their biggest prayer warrior and stay very faithfully involved, which I did. And there have been so many really neat things that we've prayed through over the last going on 12 years together, and seeing the Lord just do things. It's just been really exciting. So toward the end of my homeschooling, my youngest daughter was a senior when I came back, and they were like, let's put you on staff. We have some systems we need to get organized and would love your help. And so that was about 5 years ago now.
Wow.
So,
That is amazing. Now, you decided to step into the world of becoming an author. Was that something you wanted to do, or it was the situations that you've gone through you wanted to talk about?
Okay, so I would say that I felt a huge calling to write this specific story.
Okay.
And that came literally as a dream in the middle of the night when I was in college.
Wow.
And I got the subtitle of In the Shadow of Your Absence when I woke up. And I knew exactly the voices that I wanted to have in the book. And I also wanted the shadow of death and the shadow of the Almighty to be a clear tension that is part of grief. So
that is amazing.
So I knew that this message was it was something I was to steward. I felt very called to do so.
You guys are seeing it. You can go get it. It's on Amazon, and write a review as well when you're at it. This is beautiful. So, what I want to do is there is some areas, because I've read this book a little bit back. And I was really blown away by how driven you were.
Thank you.
And how spiritually led you were as well. So this year, I would love for you to just read that bracket, what I have in bracket there.
I can do that. A favorite memory of Jamie was the night before. We had been setting up his room so he could paint it, moved furniture so the walls were more easily reachable. I stopped by his room that night. We talked about music from my era and his. Ordinary, maybe. The ease of our interaction that evening was just a normal night for a dad and his firstborn son, a son who had been through a lot. But that night, I saw maturity, responsibility, and a real good kid. Jamie listened to metal music. I didn't like it. We told him we didn't like it. I'm sure it didn't help that his hidden depressive thinking, but whatever was troubling him went beyond the music.
Wow. So in that, we have a few other ones we're going to touch on, but there's so much that's going on there because, one, there's a specific type of sound that he likes that you guys didn't necessarily understand, and to a lot, they feel it's troubling and stuff. For you, putting that part in the book, how much of memory did that drum back?
Oh, yeah. So just to be clear, this was his dad's voice, I believe, because I wrote several different selections in the first person.
Right.
And so this was his dad's voice at that particular selection. But for me, he and I argued over music all the time. Like I had a different choice of music.
Right.
But, and also just to be clear on who Jamie is that he was my cousin.
Yes.
But our moms are sisters and our dads are brothers. We lived in Wyoming for the first several years of our lives, and we were 7 weeks apart in age and looked a whole lot alike when we were young. So our community called us the twins.
Right.
And so he was very, very close to me, and he died when we were 17. So just to give a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, we're not trying to give away too much, but we hitting you guys with some areas that will really definitely grab you to wanting to read this story. And there's so much in there, the moving parts. This area you touch on, where you found comfort.
Personally, I found comfort listening to November Rain and reading scriptures. The book of Isaiah has been especially encouraging to me. Another source of comfort has come from being with people who are just willing to be present and accepting silence. I think in tragic situations, people struggle to find the right words to say, but often the gift of quiet presence is all that is necessary. And the power of a simple hug is indescribable at times when words seem so inadequate. Although silent physical affection may seem awkward, especially if one is not too touchy-feely, honestly, the speech of a silent embrace has offered so much strength to me.
Wow. There's so much to that because, most times when individuals are going through certain things, there's a conversation. People always want to say something that's comforting, and you're like, we don't even got to say nothing.
No. And I think oftentimes that's the thing that people don't reach out when people are going through grieving times because they don't know what to say.
Right.
And I think the encouragement behind it is you don't need to know what to say, but grieving people still need people to be present.
This is true. Just be there, be present, and be willing to listen.
That's right.
Yeah. Listen to hear or listen to understand. Yeah?
That's right. Absolutely.
How because we live in a time right now where I feel like a lot of people, they listen to respond.
True.
And it's so different than when you listen to understand, because you're definitely given a different reaction to what that looked like. How many times you had to deal with that where you felt like you wanted to say something, but then you just held back?
So interesting. I think for me, in my family context, especially in the early years, having both sides of the family very concerned specifically about me, I was kind of like a turtle shell. Like I climbed in there and I didn't want anyone to worry about me.
Right.
And so I didn't say a lot then, but I did recognize that other people were going through similar things and stumbling upon rejection.
Right.
And then closing up or getting really frustrated or being misunderstood. And so I think grief is just tender space. And I think it's super important to have the right people in and letting the right people in. But you can, there can be a lot of words that are, the very night that I found out that he passed away, a well-meaning person told me that God must really have big plans for me or something to this degree,
Right.
because he wouldn't allow us to go through things that are so difficult if he didn't have a plan. And it
Right.
was just a little too early for those kinds of words.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
that wasn't helpful at the time. It was
Right.
like, I don't know if I want that kind of, you know, situation. I don't know what, like the Lord is taking me to something really hard, and I've lost someone very dear to me.
Right.
It's hard to see that there's something else coming.
Yeah. So, you know, also in your book, you know, there's this interesting time in the Bible. I think for me, this storytelling in the Bible, when it comes to David,
Mm-hmm.
I just get excited because it's so entertaining, from everything broken to
Yes.
wanting to know God more, to still have that human that even though you know he's chosen, you still understand like the reality of a lot of things. And so right here, you touch on 2 Samuel's.
Yes. 2 Samuel 22:17 through 20. I cried out to him with the words of David. He reached down from on high and took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemy, from my foes who were too strong for me. They comforted me in the day of my disaster, but the Lord was my support. He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me.
Come on. Come on. What made you wanted to put that there?
Oh, you know, that was a scripture that I was led to probably after 3 to 5 years of he was gone at that point, 3 to 5 years when I was drawn to that scripture.
Yeah.
And it was just such a clear representation of what I'd walked through with the Lord.
Right.
Because it was very, you know, when you lose someone very, very close to you,
Yeah.
and you still want them in your life, there's
Right.
a resistance to what is real now,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But now that this reality has set in, who's left?
Right.
And who are the people, and where does the Lord fit in my life? And he made it so evidently clear
Yeah.
that he was very near to me,
That's beautiful.
and that I was to walk in a posture of delight.
You know, some would say, you know, when someone lost a family member or someone close, the reason they're hurt so much is because maybe they feel there's so much more that they could have done together, and all these different things that didn't happen that they hope or wish or wanted to happen.
That's right.
Was there anything, and you know, was there anything that you feel like you wanted to do that you didn't get to do?
Oh, for sure. Like I mean, I remember going off to college, because that was, even writing college applications was one of the first times I had done any big thing in life where he and I weren't at the same stage, like bouncing ideas off of each other.
Right.
And so I think that in all reality, I think that's a huge reason why I love what I get to do now, which is I get to help. I do a college prep course for Hoops on Mission, and I get to help students find their voice as they're applying for college in their applications, as well as scholarship applications.
Right.
And it has been a profound experience for me to see that come full circle.
Amazing.
Full circle.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you guys are here, and it is safe to say it's fulfilling to do what you do, helping.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. It is, and this came out of actually Hurricane Ian. We had Ian come in 3.5 weeks of no school, and some of our students who really wanted to go to college just approached me and said, like, how are we going to get to college if we can't go meet with our guidance counselor?
Right.
And so we turned it into a course of, you know, learning how to write.
Yeah.
Some of them could write already. Some of them needed a little help, but within 12 weeks they had applied for colleges, were accepted, were getting college scholarships. So, and I love reading their essays because their voices are so distinctly theirs. And of course, it's very fulfilling.
This is beautiful. You know, there's so much here, and there's so much that is happening because you're not just sharing this from your point of view. You have others as well. And how deep did this cut the family? you know, when
Oh, yes. Like the thing that we have 4 generations that are represented in the book,
right,
which I think is beautiful because the oldest generation, they lived through a time like Depression and in which where if someone died, and I don't know if we've touched on this exactly yet, but by suicide is the manner of death, and they would not have had a funeral. They would have never spoken of that person again. And so to go through the various generations and them being willing to speak on losing their family member in this manner.
You know, it's crazy you touch on that because, you know, and what she's touching on is, you know, like back in the 30s, because 1930, because your grandma, is it your grandma?
Either the grandmother or great grandmother.
Your great grandmother.
Yeah.
But there was a saying, there was a time, and I don't know when this was birthed, but they were saying that when someone get rid of themselves.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, we hear this like, you know, it's a coward way of going out, you know, because there's so much to it. And so when I had touched on that part of this book, you know, what I had remembered when I was in Cape Coral, I had this couple that would always come to dinner there. And you would think they have everything together, everything was good, they had money, it was beautiful, and there was one day she was there waiting for him. And I remember someone called her and said he shot himself in his Beamer.
Wow.
And she was just screaming, like, you know, and crying and just saying how much of a coward, you know, he did that. And it was, and you wanted to know what was really going on, why that got to that point, you know. And so I get it, you know, back in the early years, they just didn't necessarily want to honor that in that way.
Yeah, very understandable.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for how far we've come in talking about the issues.
Yeah.
I think we've done conversation and building up the openness to have those conversations as well as compassion, recognizing when people are hurting that we ought to be present and we ought to make ourselves available and get the help if they need it, is significantly more helpful than what they dealt with back in the day. You know, I'm very grateful for that.
You know, I think we don't acknowledge this enough, and maybe I don't think we take it as serious as it is.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you never really know what someone's going through, because sometimes they don't even want to tell you what they're going through.
That's right. Yeah.
And for you guys, you never even really seen signs from your cousin like this would have even happened.
No, I mean, we definitely didn't think that. I mean, we knew that there were parts of the last, you know, year and a half of his life that he was, you know, struggling with, as we all did, you know, like there's transitionary times in high school and in college that are just tough.
Right.
But never didn't think it would come to this by any stretch.
Right. Because you think, you know, you're going through a period. After the storm, there's a calm. That's right.
That's right. We all look forward to that.
Right.
You know?
So you look forward to the calm, but I feel like some people, when they get in so deep in the storm and they just looking crazy, they just like, you know what,
for sure.
I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
That's you know, not to go too much off, but you think when Robin Williams news came out, you think that hit the world in a big way?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because there was a guy that give a lot of jokes and stuff, and no one would have thought that someone at that happy level would have did what he did.
Yeah, and I think that we have to recognize the depth of the human spirit. So oftentimes we see like kind of the iceberg, we see the tip of the iceberg. We don't see what's underneath.
You don't see underneath.
And I think it's very similar when you have someone that has like a really gregarious spirit, that's the part we see, but we don't necessarily see all the other things that are beneath the surface. But for sure, Robin Williams and Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain were 3 that really, I think, have brought that to the forefront
Yeah.
in ways that have been helpful for us to be able to talk about things.
Yeah. There's a part in here where you touched on the natural world.
Yes. Both in the natural world and the world long since tucked into pages of history books or family scrapbooks drew my seeking soul into stories and order eliminating, enduring, and overcoming. As reluctant as I felt for a time to open myself up to God again, unmistakable whispers of generations emerged, reminding me of life's fragility and that true fellowship comes in light of who I am in Him.
Yes, yes, yes. You guys heard that? They're so powerful. Listen, that hit me. Man, I don't even want to go into my story too much, but that hit me in a different way. And for you, what was that like, opening up to God and just accepting what that looks like?
You know, I think that it's been a long, slow process. And I actually think that there's something really beautiful and mysterious about His patience with us,
Yes.
especially when we go through very difficult, what might seem as chaotic or traumatic things in the earthly sphere.
Right, right.
I think that He also is really kind to give us a vision of the eternal sphere.
Yes.
And what's to come, and what bringing heaven to earth, what that looks like, and how we get to participate in that.
Yeah.
And so I think so much of that comes into bringing the dimensions of the person, mind, body, soul, spirit, into a cohesive alignment, so that we live in wholeness and not fragmented. And so much I think of the tensions that young people or even older people that can contemplate this kind of death, they are living or struggling with fragments of life, and they don't see how those pieces can fit together.
Right.
And so for me, I think God just gave me a window into a glimpse into seeing how those pieces come together, and that wholeness is so important.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, it's a heavy topic because it's so much that there's a lot of people that don't necessarily want to understand because there's so much to unpack there as well.
Yes.
And when it comes to the spiritual realm outside of what we see, and this book is, it touches on so many powerful parts of what the Bible touches on as well, because this even touches on the importance of faith.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's something you hope for, but it's evident of something you haven't seen yet.
That's right.
And so that is just huge in a way that for you to really tune out the noise and then allow what is supposed to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
What is the relationship like with your immediate family?
Like my parents or my kids?
Both.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah, wonderful. I have very close relationship with both my parents, and I have 3 kids that are all adults and incredible young people in their own right. And so, very, very grateful for each one, for sure.
Was your mom a good cook?
That's really funny. She would tell you no. That was like her mother-in-law. My paternal grandmother was the excellent cook.
Okay.
So my mom would tell you no, but I was very satisfied with all my mom's meals.
Yeah.
So it's my mom.
You're like, listen, Mom, I don't know what you did today, but listen, there's something here. You were that child that was. Would you say your mom spoiled you growing up, or?
Oh well, no. I mean, because my parents both grew up in interesting times themselves. They very much wanted me to have a work ethic similar to what my dad actually grew up in a city, but he loved the agrarian lifestyle and knew that the work ethic was really huge there.
Right. And
so they definitely wanted me to have a very strong work ethic, and so spoiling was not part of it.
In a musical world, which type of music would you say your teenage year was more for? Pop music or country music?
Well, growing up in Oklahoma, I think you had to do a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, Garth Brooks was really big back in the day.
Nice.
So, you know, there were some theme songs for sure, but in general, pop music.
Yeah.
Rock.
That is a beautiful thing. With where we are today and the youths embracing the influencers in that realm, who you feel have more influence on people, authors or musicians?
Oh, with the youth?
Yeah.
Musicians. Hands down. Hands down. I mean, I think that if we make allowances for different venues, like in general, because they have more access.
Right.
They're not as interested in reading as I was back in the day. You know, like that is something with my seniors that I'm, you know, trying to get them to read books, actual books, not just a summary of something, you know. Right. But I think that the way I do my book a lot is in smaller groups. And this last one that I did locally at Forever Grounded Coffee Shop just a couple weeks ago, it was fantastic. And we had primarily young people there. And I do a Q&A at the end, and they were very engaged and asked a lot of incredible questions. I was really blown away by that, actually.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So
wonderful.
I think that they have room. Like, we have to believe in these young people
We
to
do.
stretch themselves a little bit.
Yes.
But in general, musicians have a bigger impact right now.
Man, we got a task ahead of us. I mean, that's because, we got over 4 million in published authors that are looked at as, that's a lot of authors.
Yes. Yeah.
And just to try to be a part of what that look like. I mean, there's enough for everyone. So you
Absolutely.
know, So, in the next 2 years, where do you see you moving to? You still, you know.
Yeah. So I'm currently working on a master's, which I'm so grateful for. It's been fantastic.
Beautiful.
And so I really just want to keep doing what I'm doing, just do it with more clarity, more peace, and maybe even like teach some other people how to do what I do and expand that. So that's where I see it.
We would want that. We would want you to be teaching other people as well. You definitely want to be sharing what you've learned, and so that is a huge thing. And I mean, I like that. You know, where you're heading with a lot of what you're doing, and you feel that your next book, when you do decide on that, would it be more of a self-help book embracing certain areas, or you're still helping everyone understand the spiritual realm a little bit?
You know, honestly, my quiet project that I've been working on since this other book came out is fiction. So it's I really and there's parts in I quote literature in this book.
Yeah.
But I think that we need more of the story and less of the, I mean, not that self-help is, I think there's actually a beautiful place for self-help. Right. I think that we draw certain people in that might be more tending to be on the periphery.
Right.
If we do it through a story.
Yes.
And they can recognize themselves in different characters.
Yeah.
Or settings or things like that. And that was me. I was that type of person who I wouldn't have wanted to be told how to do something. Right. I would want to like feel it.
Yes.
So that's my next project. Will be more literature based.
I love that. You know, I'm glad you touched on that the way you did, because with what I have coming up next, that it's the mixture. That's what it's
beautiful.
Like, you know, because
I love that.
I travel a lot, and so the readers get an opportunity to experience some of those journeys as well. So
I love that.
This is beautiful. So for people that want to find you, you know, because they hear about Hoops and Mission, how can they find you?
Okay, stop by the gym any Monday night. It's great, but as far as like socials are concerned, I would say Instagram is probably the best place, and it's Heidi Paulec, HEIDI PAULEC. Okay. That's on Instagram. Also, HeidiPaulec.com is my website, and
beautiful.
There's plenty of places.
This is amazing. Yeah. Listen, I am so excited that you have came on the show today, and this was just wonderful. There's so much that we unpacked.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You want to see her back, don't you? Don't worry. And in the big season coming up, you guys will get to see her again because we got a surprise for all our listeners. So, on behalf of us here on the show, we want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Today.
I appreciate being here so much.
Yes, you were wonderful. You guys are welcome until another episode where we have another decorative guest like our wonderful guest here. Stay tuned. Stories to Create right here.